You just bought the Ninja Luxe Café, you're excited to use it, and then it starts. Add beans, even though the hopper is full, an espresso that tastes ultra acidic, the Barista Assist that doesn't really work well, and the damn milk jug that refuses to start properly. If you experience this, stick around till the end because I'm going to show you exactly why this happened and how to fix these problems once and for all. Hi everyone, Colin here, welcome on Cafelista, the channel where we talk about coffee, independent machine testing and review, and where we learn everything about espresso at home. Today we are breaking down the 5 most common mistakes Ninja Luxe Café users make. And these aren't necessarily machine defects, sometimes it happened, but rather a misunderstanding about how this machine works. Let's start with the first mistakes, trusting the add beans message. The problem here, you fill the bean hopper to the top, start making coffee, and then add beans appears. You look at the hopper, it's full, shake the machine, turn it off, turn it back on, nothing works. This error drives people crazy and it's one of the most frequent complaints. Why it happens? Here is what's really going on. The problem isn't a faulty sensor, most of the time, it's the physics of the beans. Especially if you use dark roast beans, you know, the ones that are shiny, that are oily. What could happen here is the oil creates friction between the beans and instead of sliding down the hopper to reach the grinder, the beans forms some sort of a bridge or an arch like wet sand. The grinder then spins without nothing, detects no resistance, no beans. The solution is quite simple. The first thing to do is to avoid, if you can, really oily, really dark beans. I always recommend to go with a medium roast, not something too shiny, too oily, for the grinder and also for your cup. Second thing, if you already have oily beans, that's alright. Here's the trick. Open the hopper and with your finger, with a chopstick, you will try to break that bridge or that coffee residue. And then the third thing, and it's I think the most crucial, you need to regularly clean the grinder with a vacuum, with a blower. You can also remove here the bean hopper and go really clean inside. Do this at least once a week if you use the machine daily, and again, depending on your coffee bean. The mistake number 2, and this one is a bit more tricky, but I would say it's following the Barista Assist blindly. The problem here, the Barista Assist, it's a feature that is supposed to be the Ninja's secret weapon. It's pretty good, it works okay. It will tell you your coffee was too fast, grind finer, it's too slow, grind coarser. You can follow the instruction and you find yourself in some sort of an endless loop where you're chasing settings every day without really getting a better cup. Why it happens? Well, here it's quite simple. The Barista Assist, as I said, is okay, it gives you some sort of a base to start, but it's just some sort of algorithm that will see if your coffee flow is correct. If your shot flows in 15 seconds, it thinks too coarse, you need to grind finer. If it flows in 45 seconds, too fine, you need to grind coarser. But of course, there are a few problems here, a few blind spots. It can see how you tempt and how you prepared your coffee puck. And also, of course, the Barista Assist, it's just an indication. Nothing will replace tasting and trying your coffee. The solution here, once you found a setting that works, generally between 8 and 14 in the settings for the grinder, for medium roast beans, take the machine's recommendation with a grain of salt. I would recommend here buying a scale. It's not really that expensive, and yes, it could make the process at the beginning a little bit more complicated, not even that much, but it will really help you understand what's going on with your machine. Quite simple. You will weigh your coffee in the portafilter. Why? Because you will be able to tell if the dose is consistent. Is it 18 grams every time in the portafilter of grinded coffee? And then you will be able to measure, to weigh the coffee in your cup. You will be able to adjust the ratio. You know, 18 grams in the portafilter for 36 to 40 grams in the cup, a ratio of 1 to 2 approximately, and then you will be able to replicate that. And by the way, if you really want to master your espresso machine, the Ninja, but not only this machine, any kind of espresso machine, I have prepared a little guide for you. It covers the extraction basics, how to adjust the grinder, everything you need to know. It's free and it's in the description. You can go download it. Okay, let's back with our machine and with the problem, the mistake number 3, making coffee immediately after turning it on. The problem here, it's your first coffee in the morning. The machine says ready, you know, after you turn it on, you start the extraction and you've got a coffee. It's really acidic, almost lemony, lacking any sweetness, any intensity. Well, you might think, maybe it's the beans, maybe it's the grinder, maybe it's the Barista Assist. No, not necessarily. It could be, but it also could be the temperature. Why that happens, and especially with your first coffee? Because the Ninja uses a heating system called a thermoblock. Unlike a real boiler, it heats water instantly as it passes through. That's great, that means your machine is ready extremely fast. The problem is that when the machine just turned on, everything else is cold, you know, the internal pipes, the group head, the portafilter in the metal, all the metal pieces. So even if water leaves the thermoblock at 93 degrees Celsius, it passes through all of those cold components and you can lose 10, 15, 20 degrees. You will end up with an extraction temperature that is way too low. Conclusion, the sugars, the compounds that gives body, that roundness, that intensity don't come out, result a sour coffee. Not a good coffee. The solution here, simple, it's easy, it's free. You will run blank shot protocol. Before grinding anything, you do an empty cycle. You can lock the portafilter in the machine. You can select the strength. If you have 701, you can select 1 for strength. That way you will have more water. The water will preheat all the circuits, everything, the group head. Don't forget to dry it well if you leave the portafilter inside. A little bonus, this cycle will also soften the group head silicone gasket, which makes sometimes locking the portafilter much easier. So 2 problems solved with 1 action. After that, you can make your real coffee. The taste should be much better. Gone is the acidity, hello sweetness and balance. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm preparing a video about the best settings, how to adjust your machine even with the Barista Assist. And by the way, if this video helps you, a little like, a subscription could really help us making more videos like that. It's YouTube, that's how it works. Thanks a lot for your support. Okay, but now back to mistake number 4, wrestling with the milk jug when it doesn't work properly. The problem here, you want a cappuccino. You fill the milk, you place it on the tray, and then you will have something that stays installed jug, even if it's there. Or worse, sometimes it starts, but you will get an almost unbearable shrill noise coming from the machine. Why it happens? There could be 2 problems with the milk system. First is the trap, the sensor. There is here a tiny button, you will see, and located at the back right of the tray under the jug. If your jug is poorly positioned, for example, if the handle is oriented forward or a little bit to the left, the weight of the handle could create a lever, you know, even a few millimeters, that would be enough. And in that case, the sensor won't be pressed anymore and nothing will start. Solution here is also extremely easy. Placement routine for the jug. You rotate the handle around like 3-4 p.m. this way. That way the handle's weight presses directly on the sensor. It works pretty much every time. Also be sure to really push inside to clip the system. And now mistake number 5 is confusing strength with the coffee strength or with coffee intensity. It is something that could happen with the Ninja Luxe Café, the 701. You might have a little button here to select your strength. So maybe you want a strong coffee to wake up. You see those 3 little buttons, and if you choose strength, for example 3, you could end up with a pretty tiny shot, not exactly what you were hoping. Then you press strength 1 and you get a huge cup, something much bigger but bitter. What happens here? It's kind of a misconception. Strength here does not really control the coffee strength. What it controls is the water to coffee ratio, meaning the volume of water that will pass through your coffee dose. And it's extremely important. Just to remember, strength 3, you will have something of 1.1.5, 1.2. It could be in between an espresso and a ristretto. Strength number 2 would be more of the classic espresso, and strength 1 will be more of a lungo, 1.3, 1.4 of a ratio, more water. Okay, that's great, but what you really need to understand here is, depending on that ratio that you choose, you will have to adjust the grind settings, meaning you will have to grind coarser if you use strength number 1, and you will have to grind much finer if you use strength number 3. The machine does not automatically adjust the burrs for you when you change the strength. You will have to do it. Hence the importance to understand the machine, but also the principle of the espresso extraction. Remember this simple rule: strength number 3, you will grind finer, between 6 and 10. Strength number 2 for classic espresso, between 10 and 14. And strength number 1, a lungo, you will grind coarser, maybe 14, 18. But here it's really just indication. Of course, it will depend on your coffee. There is no universal settings. Before we finish the video, I have 3 little quick tips. I think they're quite important. I didn't want to make the video too long, but this machine, it's a great little machine, and there is still little things to know. First, bonus tip, the constantly overflowing drip tray here. If you find your drip tray full after 2 or 3 coffee, that's normal. The machine automatically purges water on startup after each milk cycle. It's also extremely full and it will overflow. If you have this machine, I'm pretty sure it happened to you. Well, what do you have to do here? Quite simple. Don't forget to empty the tray very regularly. You will have to do that daily, that's the best. When it happens once, I think you won't forget. Bonus number 2, the quad basket needs different settings. If you want to use on the Luxe or on the premium model the quad basket, you must grind coarser. Don't try to use this basket with a really finer grind. What's gonna happen usually is the machine will be blocked. It's not gonna work. And then the bonus number 3, and it's probably the most important, use good, fresh, roasted coffee. This is the most important thing. And at the risk of repeating myself in every video, I would say avoid supermarket bags without a roasting date. If it's possible, or not always, but look for coffee with a visible roasting date. A specialty coffee, most of the time, is always better. Consuming with it 8 to 12 weeks. As you know, no settings here will save bad beans. And there you have it. We have covered the 5 most common mistakes with the Ninja Luxe Café. If you fix these 5 points, your experience with the Ninja should be much better. This machine can make excellent coffee, but it requires understanding its logic and also how espresso works. And if you have already encountered these problems, tell me in the comments which one frustrated you the most and if this works for you. Don't forget the free espresso setting guide in the description. If you liked this video, I'm pretty sure you will love this one appearing here. I recommend you watch it. As usual on Cafe Lista, I hope you'll have a good day, a good week. See you soon. Ciao.